This is Gemara Shavuos Daf Chof Tes. We'd like to dedicate today's shiur, sponsored by a close friend of the Daf, as an incredible schos Refuah Shalema for Avraham David ben Leib, as well as Avraham ben Simcha b'siyata d'shmaya. The incredible koyach HaTorah should bring an Elias neshama to Avraham David ben Leib, Avraham ben Simcha b'seich sharachel Yisrael on the day of their yartzai. Test, we begin another new Mishnah, a Mishnah that's going to discuss further Shavuos, Shav, and all the different types therein. We like to once again dedicate all the learning as an incredible schos, refuah shalema for Tinok ben Miriam Ahuva b'soich sha'ar chayli Yisrael. Says the Mishnah, Izo hi shvuah shav. What is, or which is, I should say, a shvuah shav? Articulates the Mishnah, Nishva l'shanis is yadu al-adam, you make a shvuah to change that which is known to man. Amar al-amad sheleven, shu shel zav. You say on a stone pillar it's gold. Val ish, hu isha, man is a woman, al isha, hu ish. Nishva al-davar shi avshalai, or category number two, he makes a shvuah on something which is impossible. Says the Mishnah, what does that mean? I'm sorry, camera's a little bit high. There we go. Says the Mishnah, what does that mean? A shvuah shaliyah shalai imla reisi gamol shabarech bavir. I'm making a shvuah that what? I do not see a camel flying in the air. Vimla reisi nachash kikars beisabad. If I don't see a snake like the beam of an olive press. Again, impossibilities. These are shvuah ishav. Category number three, Amar leidim. Baruch atah adina yalina melchilam shakol. Amar leidim ba'ova idunu shvuah. Someone says to Edim, come and testify for me. Shvuah shloi ni'itcha. And the Eid says, I make a shvuah, I don't know Eidus. Nishma levatel es ha-mitzvah. Or, so makes a shvuah to be mevatel a mitzvah, shlo as a sukkah, not to make a sukkah, shlo lita lulav, shlo leniach tefillin, zui shvuah shav shachavet al-zulim makos. If you did it in purpose, you get malkus, val shigasai, you are pater. And finally concludes the Mishnah, shvuah shachal kikir zu, and then he continues and he says, shvuah shachal, I will eat it, I won't. Harishon shvuah asbito, hashniya shvuah shav. The first is pointless, meaningless. Second is shvuah shav. Achla, then what? Aval shvuah shav, lo achla aval shvuas bitoy. We call it a double-edged sword, that whichever he does it, because each shvuah fills the void for the other, you're going to run into an issue. Continues the Gemara as we begin the Gemara on Chavtes Amar Aleph. Amar Ula. Ushanikal Gimar B'nei Adam says Ula, that what is a shvuah shav, and we say you contradict that which is something which is yodua, has to be known by three people. Continue by quoting the Mishnah. Says the Gemara, he did not make a shvuah that I saw. Mayim larisi. What does it mean when he says if I did not see? Abaya Amar Tini shvuah shariisi. Abaya says no, change the wordage. It means a shvuah that he did see. And Rava Amar Baimer Yesru Kopel Shavailam. A lie, all the fruit in the world should be ushered to me. Im larisi gamul perech ba'avir. Amar le Ravina l'Ravashi, says Ravina l'Ravashi. V'dilma hai gavra tzipura rabba chazi. Maybe this person asks, Ravina saw a large bird. V'asik shema gamla, and he named the bird gamla, camel. That's what a shvuah is. He's calling this a flying camel, like we could say an eagle in the sky, an airplane. You know, just a name. He didn't go after what he said. He didn't go after what his mind is. But we learned in our Brayse, when they make a shvuah, my timer. What's the reason why they have to tell this to him? La misham darina damnas kundri yovle. Is it not because that perhaps he gave wooden chips to the other person, zuzi, and he called those chips coins? So now when he is swearing, so we see that we have to articulate to ensure that he's not thinking about his own das. So says the Gemara, L'chaira, in a stam case, then we see it is his das. Answers the Gemara, Loi Hasam Misham Kanye Dirava. Over there, the reason is, explains the Gemara, because of the cane that occurred in the court of Rava, a famous case that someone gave over his cane, that there was money inside. That's why we have to be careful. Tashima says another Rai. You should know. Shem's das all daiti v'mai. Leimlo kaimi mai da'amar Eloika. Why doesn't he say that he should have said to them, kaimi mai da'amar Eloika? You have to observe whatever Hashem has commanded. Is that because we're concerned that they're going to have a different das? So we see again, we contend with what the person's personal das was. Explains the Gemara, nami ikri Eloi ka, because of a desire is also called a god, and that's the reason why we have to explicitly say not. Why doesn't he say, I make you a shvuah to observe the Torah? And then the way the shvuah means clearly refers to Torah, not to avodah zara, Hashem and not avodah zara. Chada Torah, says the Gemara, Chada Torah, there's only one Torah. You have to do Torah Shabbat Sav and Torah Shabbat Peh. V'leima kaimi shtei Torahs, Torahs Chatas, Torahs Asham. No, maybe he thinks about different karbanos. Kaimi kol Torah kula. But Moshe should have just said, I make you a shvuah on the entirety of Torah. Avodas Chachavim explains the Gemara, Damar Mar. One would have thought if he says kol Torah, maybe it's referring to avodah zara. Chamayra avodas chavim. Shkol hakofer ba kemoyde b'chol Torah kula. Chamayra avodas chavim avodah zara so chamer. If you're kofer avodah zara, you're moyde b'chol Torah kula. V'leimu leho kaimu mitzvah. Why didn't Moshe Rabbeinu just say you have to observe the commandment? Chad the mitzvah, maybe it means only one. Kaimu mitzvahs. Tarti. Kol ha-mitzvahs kulan. Maybe it means mitzvahs tzitzis. So again, we're boiling it down and trying to figure out why Moshe Rabbeinu had to say, Al da'itchem ani mashviaschem, al da'asamakom. Why didn't you just say the Torah and the mitzvahs cholu? Says the Gemara, because kol ha-mitzvahs could refer to tzitzis. Tamar mar. Shkol ha-mitzvahs tzitzis keneged kol ha-mitzvahs kulan. V'leim lo kaimi sheish me'as l'shol shasei mitzvahs. Why does he just say 613? Well, the Taimech throws the Gemara back 1 second. Leim lo al daiti al dasamakom. Al daiti. Why does he mean al das hamakom lamali? Why do you have to articulate that? Al daiti Moshe Rabbeinu's das should have been enough. So we turn over to Chavtes and Beis and says the Gemara, Ella, you know why? Kiechi, so that lo ta'ave afara shvuasayu, that they cannot be mayfair the shvuah. Tab Rashi speaks out. Hachi kamerlu lo al daitchem kiechi ta'ave shvuaschem al das hacherim. That was using Moshe Rabbeinu want to make sure this was a neder, a shvuah that can never be annulled. And we quote the next part in the second line of Chavtes Mebei. Says the Gemara, from Lo Yisi Nach Shekars Beis Habad V'Loi V'Hu Davi B'Shnei Shavar Malka V'Chad Echslik Tzleiser V'Asa Tivna. Asked the Gemara, but there was a snake in the days of Shavar Malka that it contained 13 staplefuls of hay. So we see it certainly was as big as a olive press. Amar Shmuel, explains Shmuel, Bitarov. Talking about a place where he said the snake was spotted. Kulanam mitzvah. I understand all of them are spotted in their throats. But Shegavu Tarov, the snake's back was spotted. Next case, what do you mean the shvuah is pointless? It's in vain. If you ever to name afal shvuas bita, you're right. You're going to be chayiv on both. Continue with the new Mishnah. The Mishnah now doesn't refer to the shvuah itself, but rather the people within the shvuah. Says the Mishnah, shvuah as a bitoy, a shvuah of an utterance lo'egis b'anashim and nashim, is noig both by men and women, me'krevim v'rachaykim, b'chsherim u'v'sulim, b'fnei bezdin v'shalai b'fnei bezdin, mipi atzmai, as well as on his own. Part 2 of the Mishnah of Chavid al-Zudai Makis. Vashigasai Karban, I love you, I read, Shvuah Shav. No, yes, but not Shumanashim. Berachayk be Kravik Shim Psulim. Bivnei Bazin, Bivnei Bazin, Bivnei Atzman. Chavan al Zanei Makis, Hashikal say, Potter. L'shua Shav, you're Potter from the carbon. Achazu, Amusha, Viacher, and then you're always going to be Chayiv. Lo Chaltam Ayam, Lo Nachtfilin Ayam, Mashviach, Ani, Vamer, Amen. Even just by affirming the Shua by saying Amen, it's as if you made the Shua and you're going to be Chayiv. We begin the Gemara. Amar Shmuel, teaches Shmuel. Kol ha'oin Amen achar Shua at the end of the Mishnah. Kemaiti Shua mi piv dami. It's a mamish as if you said the Shua. Techsev, as the Pasuk says, Amar Isha by Sait Amen Amen. Amar Papa Mishmei Rav Masis and Bryson Amideka. It's precise. Take Tani Shvua. Say Eidos Nagas Banashim. V'loy Benashim. Berachaykim v'loy Bekravim. Shem v'loy B'Sulim. Ve'eno Nagas El Buri and Lahayim B'Vnei Bazim. V'shloy B'Vnei Bazim. V'Viaso B'Acherim. Ein Echayiv Achichaber Ben B'Bazim Divi Rabbi Meir. That is Shita as Rabbi Meir. Whereas the Brisa says the Tan Brisa Shvua Eidos Keitzad Amar Le'oidim. Where we don't know Eidos. Once he denied, you're chayiv divrei Meir. So says the guy, I don't understand. These two prices seemingly are sicer each other. Kashana adadi elolav. How are we going to answer the shvuah? Shema mina hadana amein adulayana amein shema mina. When you say amen, it's a mamish like you made the shvuah. If not, not. Amar Avinu Shay the Rav Masisim Dacha Nami Deka the Mishnah as well. Precise the Katani shvuah is bitoy. Hagis by Nashu v'Nashu. Berachaykim nekrevim ksherim v'Sulim. If they bazim shalom if they bazim they atzmai in piacherim loy. Sounds like the only way it's like is with the atzmai. Pava Katani Seifa Zev Zev Moshe v'Piacherim Chayiv Kashana Dadi Elashma Binadan Amen. Ha delay Amen. Velishmoa my kamashmlon. The Yukid Masis Kamashtan, you're right, we learned to stand, but he's teaching you the diak in the Mishnah. Hajan aloch shvuah shtayim. A difficult parak, and Siyat Shvaya will pick it up in the fourth parak in the next shir.